Congratulations to Week 1 winners of Flo's Christmas promotions. Betty Matura, winner of $500 Courts voucher. Justin Charles, winner of $200 grocery voucher. And Bernadette de Roche, winner of a ham. Congratulations to Week 2 winners of Flo's Christmas promotion. Jason Jeremiah, a winner of $500 Courts voucher. Sandra Alexis, winner of $200 grocery voucher. And Grace McDonald, winner of a turkey. Congratulations Week 3 winners. Frances Felix, winner of $500 Courts voucher. Roxanne Edwards, winner of $200 grocery voucher. And Helen Hall, winner of a turkey. Congratulations Week 4 winners. Diane McIntosh, winner of $500 Courts voucher. Miguel Vincent, winner of $200 grocery voucher. And Pauline Richardson, winner of a ham.
This is CC6 Newsnight Weekend Review for January 6 to 9, 2014. It was the week in which Siboney Chambers to appeal High Court judge's refusal of a member of Grenada 17 to Bar Association. GIDC leads the way for value-added nutmeg pod project. New chairman of the Spice Mass Corporation appointed 1 month after resignation of Arthur Hostin. In sports, over 20 athletes nominated for Sportsman and Sportswoman of the Year awards. Details when we return.
Paint it, landscape it, accessorize it, renovate it, make it yours.
Your dream home is already built and waiting for you. Grenada Cooperative Bank's Independent Special offers attractive properties in prime locations. No legal fees, no loan fees, and special discounts on interest rates. And ask about our Property Hunters Day. Call or visit us today and make it yours.
Make it yours.
Now it's easier and more convenient to pay your Flow monthly bills when you use the check drop box at our Dusty Highway office. Simply write your name and account number on an envelope with your check enclosed and deposit it into the check box, or write your phone number at the back of the check, attach the check to the bottom portion of your bill, then deposit it into the check box. It's that easy. For more information on bill payment option, visit our website at www.discoverflow.co. Flow, watch, talk, click.
Large windows, large doors, small windows, small doors. At St. Lou Metal, the size doesn't matter. You order the size you want and we make it to your specifications. If you need our new heavy-duty casement windows or half-inch impact or laminated glass or any other doors and windows, no problem. What size? Any size. You get it at St. Lou Metal. And coming soon, PVC windows and hurricane shutters. St. Lou Metal, 19 Frequente Industrial Park, powered by Grenadian Innovation.
Thanks for joining us. I am Samantha Williams-Worm. A matter is pending before the appeal court in relation to a member of the infamous Grenada 17 who wants to be admitted to the Bar Association, but his application was refused by a High Court judge last month.
Siboney Chambers has filed an appeal to the OECS Court of Appeal after a High Court judge turned down an application by Ewart Lane, a member of the Grenada 17, to become a member of the local Bar Association. Lane is one of the 17 people who served 25 years in jail for the killing of former Prime Minister Maurice Bishop and members of his cabinet in October 1983. In December, Justice Margaret Price Finley ruled against his request, although members of the Grenada Bar Association argued for his admittance during the hearing. Attorney-at-law Ruggles Ferguson represented Lane in the High Court and spoke of why the application was refused in an interview with CC6 Newsnight.
The reason would be that he would not have passed the good character test. And the good character test, which would be risk to the public, And again, with the cases, most of the cases where you had, for example, attorneys disbarred, it had to do with issues of honesty and trustworthiness and stealing and such offenses where you pose a risk to the profession itself that you are a part of. Those in Lane's case, in fact, it's a far cry from any of those kinds of offenses.
During his over 2 decades at the Richmond Hill Prison, Lane pursued different courses in law at several international institutions, earning excellent grades along the way, Ferguson says.
He was admitted to law school, disclosed entirely his convictions, which even went to his own honesty. When he was being called to the bar, he disclosed everything. Say, listen, I have been convicted for those events, I have served time. Interestingly, he was the most outstanding student over the 2 years at law school. He received the prize for the most outstanding student. In his first year at law school, he copped several of the prizes at law school, and he received the Grenada Bar Association's prize as the most outstanding Grenadian student this year. So he has excelled. It's an exceptional case. And he has met all the academic qualifications, all the professional qualifications. Now the legal issue concerns the good character issue.
In her oral judgment, Justice Price Finley said Lane's role in the collapse of the Grenada Revolution and subsequent conviction for murder, including time served in prison, were the basis for her decision.
Whether those convictions, and convictions are not an absolute bar to being called, but the judge has a discretion to take in mind all factors, including the convictions, and then exercise a discretion whether or not to call. And in the case of Lane, those convictions date back to events arising 30 years ago. The convictions themselves, 27 years ago. He has served his sentence, and for the past 22 years, as the record would show, even at the resentencing, it has been outstanding performance by himself, not academically and otherwise, even long before he would have been released from prison.
In 1996, Lane was awarded a Bachelor of Laws second-class honors degree, and in 1999, a Master of Laws degree with merit in commercial and corporate law. Both law degrees were awarded to him by London University. He, along with other members of the Grenada 17, were released from prison in 2009. Blossom Alexis Welsh, CC6 Newsnight.
The GIDC met with agri-processors on Thursday at the National Stadium to discuss one of the most important value-added nutmeg projects in Grenada and how a cluster can be developed to bring financial benefits from the venture.
A sensitization workshop was held in St. George's on Thursday as the Grenada Industrial Development Corporation takes the lead to reduce wastage of nutmeg pods by mobilizing and organizing agro-processors into increasing the production and export of value-added nutmeg-based products. The project targets people or small businesses that are currently producing nutmeg-based products, as well as people who are interested in producing nutmeg-based products. Chief Executive Officer of the GIDC, Sonia Rawdon, during the opening ceremony, says the project is not just about processing nutmeg.
This project is about increasing value added. We are talking about the pericarb from the nutmeg. And what it's looking at is how can we increase the use of the pericarb. We know that there are already agro-processors using the pericarb. What we're looking to do is to increase the usage of pericarb by those agro-processors, as well as to encourage additional persons to start using pericarb to produce products that can then be exported internationally. At the moment, about 90% from the figures that we got, about 90% of the pericarb is either left in the field to rot or basically not utilized because there is no demand for it. And that is what we are trying to change.
The project is expected to transform the nutmeg agro-processing sector by focusing on developing new products from nutmeg, especially the nutmeg pods, sales and revenue, and training entrepreneurs to commercially produce new products.
The project involved the use of this nutmeg pericarp to produce a variety of nutmeg products or nutmeg-based products. The project was conceptualized by the Ministry of Economic Development and Planning. It is in keeping with government's policy to develop agriculture along the value chain and increase the production of value-added products from Grenada. The project is estimated to cost $632,000 US. 70% of that project is being funded through the Caribbean Development Bank as grant funds, which were provided by DFID. The other 30% of the project cost is contributed by GIDC.
The sensitization seminar provided details of the Nutmeg Cluster project that will assist processors in increasing their markets. Mrs. Roden says the value-added nutmeg should not only include agro-processors.
We're also talking about suppliers and so forth to ensure that producers in the sector can get supplies when they need it at reasonable, well, let me not say reasonable cost. That needs to be determined by the project. But the intention is that working together as a cluster, you can get economies of scale, you can get cost competitiveness that will not be realized if you continue to work as just a single producer. Hence the reason for forming a cluster and bringing everybody on board who can agree, this is what we're going to do, this is how we're going to do it, so that we can increase benefit, we can increase income, we can increase earnings for all the beneficiaries that are participating in this project.
The value-added nutmeg project should be completed by the end of this year to early 2015, and officials hope to see a substantial increase in production of value-added products and export of the products. Blossom Alexis Welsh, CC6 Newsnight.
The Spice Mass Corporation has a new chairman, and he pledges a restructuring of the organization to ensure the execution of the country's premier cultural festival happens without the normal bickering and negative media publicity.
Vice Chairman of the Spice Mass Corporation, Alistair Bain, has been promoted to Chairman of the SMC a little more than a month after Chairman Otto Hostin tendered his resignation. During an exclusive interview with CC6 Newsnight on Tuesday, Bain says he has been informed by the Minister of Culture of the appointment. However, he is yet to receive the official communication as chair of the SMC. He says in the meantime, however, work to produce a successful Spice Mass has begun.
We have identified a number of potential sponsors who we would be approaching. We are in the process of setting our calendar of events, and hopefully, because of the introduction of the online ticketing sales last year, we are hoping that Spice Mass 2014 tickets would go on sale before independence.
The issue of finances to run the country's largest festivity is going to be one of the greatest challenges, and the new SMC chairman says there is already a plan in place to deal with the yearly recurring debt of over $400,000.
We are looking seriously at loan financing, not only to pay off the outstanding balances that we have for service providers mainly, because we have been able to pay all our winners this year, probably for the first time in recent history. But we are looking at loan financing, not just to pay off that, but also to start accumulating our own assets. We spend a tremendous amount on rental facilities, auxiliary service equipment like platforms and tents and so on, and we are looking seriously at purchasing our own, so as to cut back on that type of expense.
The office, he says, will see some restructuring to effectively handle the business at hand.
In terms of administration, we are going to put more emphasis on structured administration. We are in the process of recruiting a general manager for the Spice Mass Corporation, and we are hopeful that by the end of January, that person would be in place. We are also looking at greater collaboration with promoters and people who are involved in the entertainment industry. We want to make sure that this year, going forward, Spice Mass becomes something that everyone wants to embrace. It's not the SMC in contention with the band association or with the steel band association. We want to embrace everyone.
2014 will also see the reintroduction of one of the shows that had been absent in last year's carnival.
In terms of the production of carnival, we are hopeful that Queen's Show would be reintroduced, repackaged, rebranded. So that would be one of the different activities that we are looking at for this calendar. We are also looking at what has happened over the years is that we would launch carnival in June, 1st of June. Nothing happens until the week or two before carnival. So we are hopeful that we would have not just Spice Mass activities leading up to carnival, but that we would embrace all the carnival-related activities. So regardless of which promoter is doing these events, we are now asking them to send in their schedule for us so we fit it into a national carnival calendar.
The tentative date for the launch of Spice Mass 2014 is set for May 17th. Sherry-Ann Noel, CC6 Newsnight.
When we return, attorney to appeal 35-year sentencing of Steve Gurry because of his mental state at the time of the 2010 double murder.
Say hello to the Digicel DL700, our newest best value Android smartphone with a 4-inch display, front-facing camera, and a 5-megapixel rear camera. It's perfect for snapping and sharing. Plus, it's super fast, so you can play more, do more, and listen more. And choose to download from over 1 million apps in the Google Play Store. The Digicel DL700, the latest addition in the Digicel Android smartphone range. Make the smart choice. Be extraordinary. Digicel.
Grenada, celebrate the big full O with Flow. Sign up for Flow video, voice, or broadband during the 40 days of Flow, and you have the chance to enjoy our 40th independence with a 40-inch TV. That's not all. During Flow's 40 days, 40 lucky customers can win $100 cash back on their bill. Existing customers just have to zero their bill by February 10th for a chance to qualify. Plus, join us in store for exciting activities and giveaways. See press. Visit discoverflow.co or like us on Facebook for more details. Don't miss out on your chance to win with Flow this independence. Promotion ends February 10th, 2014. Special conditions apply.
Breeze removes stains in the first wash. The other detergents, not always. You have to wash it all again and use twice the amount. So, which one costs more? Do the math. Choose Breeze. Unbeatable stain removal.
Welcome back. A case may go before the appeal court next month in the double murder and decapitation of 2 St. Andrew men, as the attorney that represents the accused says the mental state of his client at the time of the gruesome incident should lead to a reduced sentence.
Attorney at law Ruggles Ferguson has filed an appeal in relation to the sentencing handed down to Steve Gurry, the man who pleaded guilty to the double murder of Clyde Greenidge and Christopher Stafford, both of St. Andrew, who were decapitated on May 3, 2010. Gurry beheaded the 2 men at Balthazar St. Andrew after claiming that he did so after hearing a voice telling him to kill the men. He then carried both heads in a bucket to the Grenville police station and informed the police officers that he had just cut off the heads of the 2 men. The headless bodies of the deceased were discovered more than 5 miles from the police station on the farm of Clyde Greenidge located in Balthazar St. Andrew. Last month, he was sentenced to 35 years on each count by Madam Justice Margaret Price Findlay, who ordered that the 2 sentences be run concurrently. Mr. Ferguson says the sentencing will be appealed because there are several legal issues arising in this case that concern people with mental illness.
This is a case that obviously involves diminished responsibility. The medical reports, and there are 3 expert medical reports, all point to the diminished responsibility of Gurry at the time of the incident, that he was suffering whatever triggered it from an abnormality of the mind. So he was not functioning with his normal mind. And what was done was very gruesome, and obviously from the time it was done to him bringing the heads in the station, that of course is a product of an abnormal mind at the time. And he went through this probably for 48 hours. Even when he went to the police station, he had to go on the airport, and he wondered why they were keeping him, because he had to go to meet somebody on the airport. At that time, he could not distinguish really right from wrong.
After being examined by 3 psychiatrists, it was determined that Gorry suffered from a brief case of paranoid schizophrenia during the time of the gruesome incident. In that light, Mr. Ferguson believes the 35-year sentence is too excessive.
The sentence cannot be posited just in relation to the act and the gruesomeness of the act. Because with diminished responsibility in several of the other countries, where you have even gruesome acts against children and family members, you have a much lighter sentence because of the diminished responsibility factor. Without that, then you, again, as I said, I make clear that it has to be a serious maximum sentence unless there is some compelling reason to do otherwise. So we are saying in relation to Gorry simply that given his diminished mental responsibility, the sentence was excessive in those circumstances.
The appeal may go before the court as early as next month, he says.
The next sitting of the Court of Appeal in Grenada is February. Okay. So it just depends on whether all the documents that needs to be furnished by the court, whether these documents are ready in time for February. But as I said, it's not just a matter with Steve Gorry, because there's a broader legal principle involved, which is how do you treat with persons who are obviously suffering from a mental disability. How do you treat with them when punishing them? Do you punish somebody who is sick in the way that you would punish somebody who is well and does a bad act?
In handing down the 35-year sentence, Justice Price Finley said a psychiatrist's examination and report should be completed every 6 months and recommended a review of the murder accused to be done after 25 years.
Situations in the northern part of the island requiring ambulance services are expected to be handled in a more efficient manner with donation of a new emergency vehicle to the Sutter's Fire Department of the police force.
The keys and title to a brand new ambulance was presented to the Royal Grenada Police Force Fire Department at a brief ceremony in St. Patrick on Tuesday morning. The ambulance is a donation from former police officer Dr. Hussein James and will be assigned to the Sutter's Fire Department. Dr. James says he had the emergency vehicle for some time and is happy that it will finally be put to use to help the people of Grenada.
I brought them down and I tried to donate them to the government, to the former government. We had some roadblock. It did not happen. I donated one to the Grenada Conference of Seventh-day Adventists, which I think they still is using, and this one I kept. And it had been sitting here for the past 2 years, and I decided the purpose I brought it was to help the people of Grenada.
In accepting the keys and title, Assistant Commissioner of Police Edwin Martin says the ambulance will go a long way in enhancing the capabilities of the fire department to become more comprehensive in emergency response.
Having an ambulance attached to our fire department also presents the opportunity for deeper collaboration with our medical facilities, and of course it hopefully will assist in us developing our EMT specialists within the fire department, and thereby hopefully can contribute to saving lives, as the fire department, as we all know, is one of our primary emergency response units in the case of any major incident, in particularly accidents and fires. So certainly we believe that this will go a long way. It has presented the fire department with a capability that was not present in the past, that we did not have, and I think it really and truly presents the opportunity for us to fulfill the dream of having a comprehensive emergency response from our fire department. And certainly this realization would not have been possible today without your most generous contribution or donation, for which we are very, very grateful.
Officer in charge of the fire department, Superintendent Mitchell, says the ambulance will be put to good use.
Whether someone is trapped in a fire or a collapsed building, and even more so from a car crash, it is always the responsibility of the fire service to respond and to assist persons. And this particular service in terms of ambulance response will give the fire personnel additional capabilities that they never had before in terms of treating patients. We all know that the first few moments of treatment of a patient is absolutely critical, and the fire department now has the ability with state-of-the-art equipment to put patients in a position regarding their longevity of life to live longer, to have better treatment.
Superintendent Mitchell says there are EMTs, paramedics, and people who are trained to handle pre-hospital care and treatment on the force, and they will be able to put their life-saving skills to further use with the donation of the ambulance. Blossom Alexis Welsh, CC6 Newsnight.
The BNTF has received an extension from the CDB for the delivery of a major water project on the sister isle of Carriacou, which was originally scheduled for completion almost 5 weeks ago.
The Princess Royal Water System, a BNTF project in Carriacou that began in October last year and had a completion deadline for December 6, 2013, has not met its deadline. On Monday, Project Manager of Basic Needs Trust Fund, Isaac Bagwan, says the delayed completion of the project was as a result of unusual weather pattern on the sister isle.
Due to the unseasonal rain in Carriacou, there was some tremendous delays in terms of doing the foundation work. But we're happy to report at this point that the project is nearing completion, in the sense that the tank is, the base have been built, all the sides have been built already, and they currently covering the tank.
The system, he says, once completed, will ensure adequate water supply to the Princess Royal Hospital.
The tank is a 100,000 gallon tank that would supply the hospital with water. There's another component to the project, which is a pump, which would be installed by NAWASA. There's 2 tanks on the compound. One is the one that we're building currently is referred to somewhat as a reserve tank. The other one is actually under the hospital, and this is the tank that would, the reserve tank would pump water into the hospital tank, and that would supply the hospital.
The plumbing work to be done to install the pipes will be undertaken by the National Water and Sewage Authority, Mr. Bagwan says.
NAWASA would now have to connect the pipes from the reserve tank into the hospital tank, and of course put in a pump so that there's a control mechanism. So once the level within the regular tank in the hospital gets to a certain level, then the pump would automatically starts up and pump water from the reserve tank into the hospital tank.
The overall cost of the project was also made mention of by the BNTF project manager.
The civil works was $379,000 EC dollars. And then the next component for the installation of the pumps and pipes is $44,000. So that is the cost of the 2 components of the project. This project, as I've indicated, should have been completed by December 6th. However, we've been able to ask the Caribbean Development Bank, which is co-funding this project, for an extension up to the end of January of this year. And the extension have been granted. So we're confident that this project would be completed within the next 2 weeks, I would say.
Mr. Bagwan says there is a planned site visit for Wednesday. Sherry Ann Noel, CC6 Newsnight.
Coming up in sports, stage set for 5 days of sailing events beginning the end of this month.
The Leap is about giving you the ability to explore your potential, so you can keep up with the fast-paced world we live in. Leap into the future with Flo's broadband packages. Turbo 10, $75. Turbo 20. Turbo 30. And introducing Turbo 100. Leap. Let's evolve as people.
Cool me down. Nothing can hard in my country. So I open up a bakery. Yes.
Hey, in order that I should marry.
When did you jump, soca?
Friendliest people you'll ever meet. Wise man with black stone beside him.
Live on Community Channel 6 every Saturday, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. It's Sound System Saturday.
Revered as the Caribbean's leading source of international sports, Sportsmax and Sportsmax 2 will soar to new heights in January. We resume exciting coverage of tennis from the WTA. The BPL tussle rolls into the new year. The gentleman's game of fiery conflicts in the Ashes, India's tour of South Africa, and Australia's Big Bash. Just you watch this January on Sportsmax and Sportsmax 2.
Grenada, you are being watched by the hardest hitting commentary team ever assembled, and they tell you as they see it every Monday at 8 p.m. on Community Channel 6. Watchdog.
Biting commentary.
A biting commentary. Repeat broadcast Saturdays at 8 p.m.
Biting commentary.
Welcome back. The Grenada Olympic Committee prepares to honor its own at a special gala at the start of next month, with over 20 national athletes vying for the prestigious titles of Sportsman and Sportswoman of 2013.
Grenada's sports fraternity is gearing up for a day of recognition with the February 1st hosting of the 2013 National Annual Sports Awards ceremony. The event is due to be held at the Radisson Grenada Beach Resort in Grandance, St. George. More than 20 local athletes are up to be nominated as the best overall individual athletes in their various sporting disciplines. President of the Grenada Olympic Committee, organizers of the event, is Royston Lahey.
The National Sports Awards ceremony will be held on the 1st of February at the, well, what is now the Radisson Resort. Okay? On the 1st of February at 7 p.m. Invitations will be out within the next week. And one of the things that we are advising in the invitation, recipients of the invitation should do is to walk with the invitations, and that the invitations would be only for the persons who are listed on the invitation.
The dinner and gala type of fare, he says, will come with several stern procedures.
And we don't want any of the problems that we had last year to crop up this year, where people came with other persons, and then we had a fine, people were seated all about and not where they were supposed to be seated. So one of the things that we're emphasizing this year is that the invitees walk with the invitations, and that the invitations would only be for the persons who are named on the invitation. People who are not invited would not be seated. So I don't want to have any embarrassment. We had some difficulty in receiving nominees from associations, and although we extended the nominee, the close of the nomination to November, all into December, we were still calling on associations to send in their nominees. We've now received all. One of the problems is that a lot of them have not submitted any biography, bios on the athletes.
He says they are currently dotting their final I's and crossing their final T's for the event.
We normally have, I think we normally, the stage we have reached now is that we have a fairly enjoyable evening's activity there. And with the dinner and so on, it adds a sort of difference to the event. It's costly though, and that is why we try to ensure that just the people that are invited would be seated. But we try to have a grand event. We asking the nominees again to be properly dressed. We asking the invitees also to be properly dressed.
The nominees for the National Sports Awards, which is carded for February 1st, are Olympic gold medalists Kirani James and Kenisha Pascal for the male and female track and field personalities of the year, Kevin Cox and Greta Ambrose in the discipline of basketball, Imran Bartholomew for boxing, Devon Smith and Afi Fletcher for cricket, Hudson Dowden, cycling, Denron Daniel and Ronisha Frank, football, Christian Chow Chow and Adana Moore, karate, Krista Stevens, netball, Kwesi Paul, sailing, Delron Felix and Oriolua Cherubin, swimming, Jason Stanislaus, table tennis, Yannick James and Lois Alexis for tennis, Callum James and Emma Karasek as outstanding triathletes, and Darren Oxford and Jamila Billy for the sport of volleyball.
Grenada battles on to take their place as one of the best sailing destinations in the region and launches another sailing activity.
The second Island Water World Grenada Sailing Week initiative was officially launched in St. George on Thursday. The Grenada Sailing Week is scheduled to kick off at the end of January and aims to introduce foreign sailors to the very best that the Spice Isle has to offer both in and out of the water. The launch attracted several people, including officials of the newly formed Grenada Tourism Authority, the Marine and Yachting Association of Grenada, officials representing the title sponsors Island Water World, and members of the organizing committee. Chairman of the board for Grenada Sailing Week is Mark DeCall.
We started this year with a brand new title sponsor, Island Water World. And we took a few bold steps in changing things up. And of course, the major one is we've changed the format of the event. It's now going to move between 3 of the marinas in Grenada. We thought that it was important to showcase Grenada and what it had to offer, and to let people know when they came here there were facilities all over the place, and we just wanted people to move around and see what was going on. Already we've got close to 30 boats registered. We're just about where we were in terms of total registrations for 2013. We've just about met that target already. And there's a lot of people that we know that register last minute to come. So we're definitely going to beat last year's target.
He says they are happy with the support they are getting from sailors.
One of the nice things for us is that a lot of the boats that are coming are boats that have not been to Grenada before. They're not previous sailing festival entrants. They're brand new boats. And it's down to a lot of the extensive marketing that we've done in new places. We spent a lot marketing in places like Europe and in new magazines that have worldwide circulation that hadn't been seen before. And so we're really happy to have a lot of these new boats, not just some cruisers, some of them people that race on a regular basis and nice boats, people from Europe, that sort of thing. So we're really excited to have that this year. There's going to be a total of 10 races over 4 days. We're starting the racing off at Port Louis Marina. The first day, which is I should start before that. The briefing for the event is on Thursday the 30th.
Kelvin George, General Manager of Island Water World, also delivered some remarks on the activity.
Island Water World Grenada is happy to be part of this event and to be the main sponsor, the title sponsor of that event for 2014. We would just like to thank the board of the directors for the event, which is the Grenada Sailing Week. And we're happy to know that the opportunity was given to Island Water World to be the title sponsor. As a title sponsor, we basically will be the one that will be assisting in the financing of the event, and we hope that within the next few years in the future, we're going to continue to do our best to ensure that that event grows from strength to strength. Island Water World, as you know, is one of the leading chandlery within the Caribbean, and we trust that within the next few years we're going to continue to grow as a chandlery, and despite what is happening economically, we're going to try to stay above the economic pressure.
The 2014 Island Water World Grenada Sailing Week initiative is scheduled for January 30th to February 4th at the Port Louis, Prickly Bay and La Febleau Marinas, St. George.
That's all we have for you in Sports on 6. We recap the headlines next. Recapping the headlines. It was the week in which Siboney Chambers to appeal High Court judge's refusal of member of Grenada 17 to the Bar Association. GIDC leads the way for value-added nutmeg pod project. New chairman of the Spicemas Corporation appointed 1 month after resignation of Arthur Hostin. And in sports, over 20 athletes nominated for Sportsman and Sportswoman of the Year awards. That brings us to the end of CC6 Newsnight Week in Review for January 6 to 9, 2014. Top stories from CC6 Newsnight can also be seen on our Facebook page. Flow Community Channel 6. On behalf of the news team, I'm Samantha Williams-Worm, thanking you for joining us.